Hello! My name is Mitchell Veeder, a senior from Burlington, Connecticut. I want to thank you for both your time and this opportunity. Thank you. Now, what is price gouging? Price gouging is essentially the process of either a business or a private individual raising prices of goods to a higher amount due to its high demand during either a natural disaster or other like events. For the most part, in modern day America, price gouging is illegal, at least on a state level. I've always struggled, since I learned of the concept of price gouging, with is it morally right or is it morally wrong? I've always believed that the greater good of both humans and humanity in general would overcome hardship, but I feel profit sometimes does get in the way. I think in general, price gouging is indeed evil, but I have exceptions. In the video, John drove, I believe, 600 or so miles in order to sell generators for double the price that he purchased them for. I believe this is both morally wrong and should be illegal. But let us look at the recent crisis in Puerto Rico, a commonwealth of the United States. The island lost most of its power due to Hurricane Maria. And as the Washington Post put it, it has been the longest and largest major power outage in the history of the United States, if you can believe that or not. Now, as you know, power is needed for, of course, fresh water, food preservation, medical supplies and preservation, and, of course, infrastructure such as in education. Now, I want to propose an example. If a Southern Floridian purchased 40 or so generators and decided to take a ship to Puerto Rico to sell these generators at quadruple the price, I believe this should be illegal. For this reason. Imagine you are a mother of a small child, and this child requires insulin to live. Insulin has to be refrigerated. There's no power on the island of Puerto Rico. You lost your house and all of your savings in the storm. You cannot pay for this generator in order to provide insulin for your kid. Your kid may die. For this reason, I believe America should not ever allow price gouging at what it can be. Now, it is true price gouging can be beneficial. I'm not going to doubt that. Sadly, many Americans don't seem to care about the greater good, rather profit. But this does indeed bring goods that are needed to regions where they are needed. And also, it prevents a single person from buying out, say, a whole store of water. It does, because of the price. Now, I propose a solution that I believe is the best solution. First, the federal government must make illegal excessive price gouging. Perhaps no more than 20% of a product's original price can be tacked onto the price during natural disasters, in order to save resources like water for other families, but still allow poor families to buy things such as generators without them becoming too expensive. Now, it must be a federal law. It cannot be states. It needs to be a federal law across the whole of the United States in order to make it equal for everyone. An equal market. Also, a key element must be simple restrictions, as I like to call them. Federal/state analysts must determine regulations in terms of units of a product. This makes sense, rather than pricing. Units of a product. Unfortunately, I cannot formulate like numbers and such, as I'm not an analyst. I can't tell you how many bottles of water a single person can receive per week. But essentially, an example would be, during a particularly dry drought, say in California or Nevada, a single person can only be allowed to buy one case of water in a week. Or say a single person and their spouse. As opposed to a family of 7, they can buy maybe 2 or 3 cases of water in a given week. It makes sense. The family and both the single person would have to conserve water and buy more water next week. Now, essentially, I believe this system would be more beneficial, but it does come with hitches. The system, or the unit system as I like to call it, essentially relies on the government rather than capitalism. And I think this could be helpful, but it may only work in a flawless society. Essentially, it'd be hard to keep track of purchases by individuals, especially during a natural disaster. I understand that. But I believe if we could somehow overcome this, this would be a better system. Thank you for your time, Mitchell Leviter. Thank you. Have a great one.